Welcome, real estate business owners and new Bonita Springs Realtor Association members. I'm super excited to be your tour guide today on our journey as we start to talk about how to create a value proposition for yourself and how to market yourself in the Southwest Florida real estate industry. My name is Carrie Harity. If you'd like to get your phone out and take a snapshot of this slide or any other slide as we're talking today, you are more than welcome to do that. Make sure that I'm in your phone under Coach. My phone number's there on the screen, 239-398-3848. I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time introducing myself because today is really about you and what you need. We only have a short time together, and marketing yourself and starting to create a value proposition and a platform for gaining market share, those are big topics and they do take a while to cover. I am though just going to give you a few highlights of my career so that you understand that who you listen to matters and that I do have the credibility here to stand up in front of you. And I'm totally coming from a servant leader mentality today. I'm here to serve you and support you and help you. And at the same time, I want to make sure that you understand that I've walked in your shoes. I've been hyper local in the Southwest Florida real estate market for 17 years. I've been with a developer on a team. I've been a heavy listing agent in Marco Island. Our group was #1 on the Board of Realtors. I've run a Keller Williams franchise here in Bonita where we increased profits 80%. Currently, and for the last 6 years, I've run a coaching company called Eris. And I coach agents anywhere from 3 million who are just kind of starting out in the business but show great promise, all the way to my largest team, which is about $150 million in production. So let's put the spotlight back on you and let's start talking about your value proposition. A lot of people would call this your marketing plan or your marketing plan of action. Well, I like to back that up a step because you can't market yourself unless you know what your value is and what you bring to people. So the topics that we're going to cover today are #1, who am I in the sea of realtors and how we can define your brand. There are about 90 real estate agents for every one closed transaction. So 15,000 realtors running around right now. We're also in a very one-sided market, as you probably know. It's a seller's market, and it's rare that we can specifically say whether it's a seller or a buyer market. But right now, our inventory is at about 20 to 25% of where it normally is. So that's going to create its own challenges for you. All of those, though, you can overcome. Second, we're going to talk about the importance of a business plan. I'm a stickler for putting a business plan together. We're going to talk about some basics there. Third, how do I get market traction quickly? This is probably one of the #1 questions on your mind because we are going to action train. And what that means is we're going to be working with customers and taking market share while we're still learning how to get started in the business. So we're not going to wait until we know everything there is to know. We're going to actually go out and do while we are training. Fourth, what are my greatest resources? So you are now a business owner, and that presents a lot of challenges because you are actually the receptionist, the marketing person, the IT specialist, all the way through the transaction coordinator. At oftentimes, you're going to be your own consultant for how you get things done. So there's going to be a lot of different tasks pulling at your time. And we want to talk about how to leverage what you already have around you so that we're not reinventing the wheel. And then last but not least, what are your next steps? So let's talk about how we define your value as a realtor. So you are your brand, right? And what I want to say to you right now is that as you talk to people and they ask you what you do for a living, I'd like for you to stop saying that you're a realtor. Even though that carries a great title, and belonging to the board gives you a whole set of standards and ethics that you must adhere to that separates you from just having a real estate license. There's another step up from that, and that is that you are a real estate business owner. You are now an independent contractor. You're not working a job. You're not an employee. So when someone asks you what you do, I would like for you to say, I own a real estate business. If you are incorporated, a PA, or an LLC, you can say, I own a real estate company. These are important words to use because in our particular area, the average demographic is a little bit more mature. People are savvy. They've bought and sold a lot of real estate, and separating you out right away from all the other realtors in the industry is gonna change the way that they look at and speak to you. So from this point forward, you own a real estate business. When you start to define your value so that we can market you, you need to first start with what your 5 important values are and what your business belief is. So when I say value, what I mean is if I were to say, hey, you have to go work with Carrie, and the reason you have to go work with Carrie is because she is A, B, C, D, and E. So we want sort of 1 or 2 word answers to that question, right? And we want to talk a little bit about what your belief system is in the business. So for some people, they might say, oh, my belief is that you do unto others as you would have done to you. Or my belief or mission statement in the business is that I get by giving. Or customers come first. At Keller Williams, we used to say, you know, our sort of belief system was God, then family, then business. So getting a definition on that and you knowing what it is critical to you even being able to go out and start to market yourself. And this is a key step that I find that realtors miss. They just start emulating other people instead of determining their own genuine value. When you do that, your passion is going to start to come out, and your passion is what's going to pull people toward you, right? So when we ask, why would someone work with me? You want to be able to name those 5 reasons. We also want to be specific when we say, why would someone work with me, and include numbers in this. So if you're a brand new agent, obviously, and you haven't sold any real estate yet, what you might want to do is take a look at your brokerage and use your brokerage numbers. So let's go back and say, my 5 values are, I am an expert in the business. I have mastered my craft. I am approachable. I'm trustworthy. And absolutely, I'm compassionate and I put my customers first. So let's say that those are my 5 values. Why would someone do work with me beyond those values has to do with my expertise or my experience. So some of you might have been in sales in the past or in other areas where sales was a big part of what you did. I would include those numbers. You know, I've been in sales for 15 years. That's a great reason why someone would want to work with you. You could absolutely say my brokerage is hyper local and every single one of the realtors with my particular company is in production. That's something that would be important. You might want to look at your brokerage and say, what's our market share? How many listings do we have? Talk to your broker about where you shine compared to other brokerages and incorporate that into your own value proposition until you have your own statistics, and you will, that you can talk about. Let's talk about what buyers and sellers want in a realtor. So NAR typically runs surveys throughout the years about what buyers and sellers are looking for in a real estate agent. A lot of different sentences come up, but 3 words always tend to be found in those sentences. Those 3 words are trustworthy, expert, and empathy or compassion. So trustworthy, I think we all know what that means, and that, boy, is that hard to find today in any authority. So being trustworthy, doing what you say you're going to do, that's critical, and I would make sure that that comes across in your values or your beliefs somewhere. Being an expert doesn't necessarily mean that you are experienced. We've got realtors that have been in the business for 20 years that couldn't tell you a hill of beans right now about where the best purchase is, or where the best waterfront value is, or where the best investment opportunity is. So being an expert on the market just means that you know the statistics and you know what's happening in the market, particularly in your farm area or whatever area you're focusing on. And then finally, compassion or having empathy just means that you're willing to do what's right, and that what's important to the customer, their transition, is far more important than your commission. So last, what I would like for you to think about in defining your value, and this is part of your homework, right away, is to kind of think about who you want to be in the real estate business over the next 3 to 5 years. So coming up with your vision. Do you see yourself building a team? Do you see yourself eventually working in a luxury market? Do you see yourself maybe becoming a broker of a brokerage? Or maybe you see yourself teaching and becoming a coach. There's lots of different ways that you can go. Staging, if you're into interior design, flipping property and becoming your own investor. That's something that might interest you. But get a feel for where you want to go, because we always want to start to begin with the end in mind and make sure that we are branding you right from the beginning towards that niche or vision that you have. Everything that you present or write needs to reflect your values and your mission. So let me give you an example of this. A lot of agents start in the real estate business and they say, yes, I know I need to be a listing agent. But then the first thing that goes into their bio on their brokerage website or their board website or on Zillow or Realtor.com says, oh, let me find you your perfect home in paradise. Well, who is that attracting? Buyers or sellers? Right, that's attracting buyers. So you just said you want to be a listing agent, yet your bio is attracting buyers. So everything that you do comes back to this belief, your vision for yourself in the real estate industry, and your values. From there, we work on defining your brand. Okay, so your name essentially becomes your brand, right? And over time, your name, as it appears on your real estate license, doesn't necessarily need to be the name of your company. For example, I'm the owner of Eris Business Development Coaching, but my name is Carrie Harity, right? So there's a company name and a logo that doesn't necessarily reflect my name. That's your choice. In the beginning, as an individual agent, I recommend that you use your name and then you create a brand around that. The thing that a lot of agents don't look at is, where is all of my marketing leading to? So in other words, am I putting my phone number on things, my website on things, my email address on things, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, or am I putting everything on there? Top marketing experts would tell you that all of your calls to action, all of your marketing pieces, all of the roads that you sort of lay out there to attract people to you need to lead to one place. And we're going to talk about what I think that one place is. So the first thing you need to do is create a team name and a logo. Maybe that's nothing more than Carrie Harity, right? And then you have your logo. You can see here I have the Jill Zeter group from Miami, top team over there. Once you've created a team name and a logo, then we have to talk about a business Facebook page. So a lot of agents immediately focus on website. If your brokerage is giving you a website page, obviously you're going to work on that. But a Facebook business page doesn't take a lot of effort or time to really set up, and you can actually put that as your URL on your business card and on everything that you do until you have a website set up, or until you decide you want all roads to go somewhere else. But a Facebook business page is awesome because it allows you to actually see who's been looking at your page. You can send all of your personal friends the opportunity to like your Facebook business page, so you immediately start to build your following. And last time I checked, it was very reasonably priced to set up a Facebook business page versus a website. So this is fast becoming, right, the way of doing business and the way of getting something up quickly that you can attract people to. Create digital and print, creating a digital and print brochure using high quality photography, I absolutely recommend this. You can put together just a front back piece or a tri-fold brochure to explain to customers why they should work with you and what the highlights are for your brokerage. High quality photography is critical, whether you get it from iStock or one of the free spots or Canva. It's critical right now. We are in the age of instant visual gratification. So please use high quality photography. And that includes when you get your personal headshots done. This is critical, and they're things that you're going to use over and over and over again. Last, as you start to define your brand, you'll hear a lot of brokers or marketing specialists say, make sure you're handing out your business cards. You're going to hear from me the opposite. I believe that most business cards end up in the trash can, especially in this day and age. Where we want to be is in their phone, and we want to be in their phone under Realtor. So here's my suggestion. When you're meeting with people, ask for their information first. Just say, hey, left the house quickly. Let me get your name and cell phone number so I can send you my contact information. Put that right in your phone. And then if they insist on getting your information or they want it, just say, hey, do you have your phone with you? Once you have their contact information, you can send them yours. I suggest you have them put you in their phone under Realtor. Why? Because if you only meet someone one time, you may not remember their name. And if you go into their phone by name, they may not know how to find you, right? How to look you up. So once again, make sure you're collecting their information first, name, phone number, and email if you can get it, and then ask them to put you in their phone under Realtor. Stop handing out a ton of business cards and expecting people to call you, because you lose control of the lead or the prospect at that point. So let's talk about the importance of a business plan as it supports your marketing. So there are 4 parts to a real estate business plan. The first is obviously financial. Everything is driven by numbers. So you have to think about, as you move into the business this year, how much money you want to earn. So the question that I get all the time is, what's realistic? Well, there's no such answer to that question. I've had people get in the business and not do much their first year, and I've had people get in the business and end up in the $5 to $7 million range. So, you know, it's really how much do you want to put into it? What does your database look like right now? Who do you know? Who do you know in your neighborhood? And what price point are you working in? But either way, we need to think about what kind of income that we want to generate. I've put an example over to the right here. You can see that there's 120,000 in what we call GCI, or gross commission income. If you divide what you want to earn by 0.03, which represents 3% commission, that will give you the total volume that you need to sell. So in this case, if I want to earn $120,000 this year, I have to sell $3.6 million in real estate, which is very attainable. Next, we look at the average price point that we want to work in. Right now, $350,000 is still the average price point working through the market. It's going up rapidly. In some areas, depending on where you are, that could be as high as $900,000. So this is across all areas from Cape Coral all the way down to Marco Island, across all property types. The average is $350,000, but you have to look at what would that be for you. And then last, if you take that average price point and you divide it into your total volume, so basically I'm taking the $350,000, dividing it into 3.6 million, that tells me how many transactions that I need to do this year. And you can see in this case, that's only 10. So it's not even 1 per month. So there's a lot of money to be made in this business, and you need to have your financial model well thought out so that you know exactly what your goals are. If you don't, you know, there's a saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up where you are, which is still at the beginning. So make sure we get the financial picture. Marketing plan, your lead generation plan, and your farming plan. These are critical. Prospecting, which is direct reaching out to customers, is important. Right now, we're in a marketing-driven market, not a prospecting-driven market. So that means your social media marketing campaigns and your relationship building tools, your networking tools, your core advocacy tools, which we're going to talk about, all of those are going to be super important to bringing business to you. Prospecting, which is reaching out to new people by phone or door knocking or doing open houses, those kinds of things, those will still be activities that you do, but they're going to fall secondary right now to your marketing plan because of the market that we're in. You do need a budget model. Just as a rule of thumb, your expenses should never exceed more than 30% of your income, your GCI. So that would be really high. Most of the agents that I coach, their expenses run between 16 and 19% of GCI. So if you're at 30%, you're really high. You're on that yellow light, which means pull back. If you need help with a budget model or help with a marketing plan, help with a financial model, or help with your organizational model, which we're going to talk about here, Eris offers one-on-one business planning sessions, and all you have to do is go to the website and you can fill out a contact form for more information on how we would get together with you to put a business plan together with you that's customized for you, your market, and your experience. Number 4, that's your organizational model. So we need to look at the resources that you have around you with your brokerage, with your boards, with Florida Association of Realtors and also National Association of Realtors, understanding what your affiliates can bring to the table, your mortgage company, your title company, and who we want to work with. That's all part of your organization now, and you are running an organization. And then we're also going to look at an action training calendar. There's going to be so much training coming at you. There probably already is. You're going to feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose. You've got to be able to very specifically look at the trainings that are being offered and calendar things that are focused for what you're doing right now. So my suggestions for first trainings are your orientations with your company, your orientations, of course, at your board. You need to get to know the MLS inside and out, so take those trainings and any advanced trainings that are offered, and contracts. You need to understand your contracts at a super high level. Your FAR as is, and your NABOR contracts. All of those need to be thoroughly understood. So these 4 models become part of your business plan. Today we're most focused on your marketing plan and how we start to get traction in the industry. But I can't just skip to that because all of these things are important. We can't have a marketing plan without knowing how much money we can spend on our marketing. So again, the rule of thumb would be no more than 30% of your $120,000. So that would be $40,000, which would be super high, approximately. Let's talk about executing your business plan. The main reason agents fail isn't because they don't have a marketing plan. It's because they aren't following a schedule and they don't have anyone holding them accountable to what they say they're going to do. All of a sudden now you're your own boss. Maybe you've always been an entrepreneur and you've always been your own boss. Maybe you're a self-starter and you're self-motivated. That's awesome. You probably won't have any problem with this then. But if you got into real estate and you moved out of a job and there was someone holding you accountable to your results in that job, this is going to be new for you. Also, if you've moved out of a job and you went into real estate expecting to have a lot of time flexibility, well, as you can see from this schedule, which is the ideal schedule of a real estate agent for the first 2 years, you're probably going to be taking a deep breath right now, because starting a business takes a tremendous amount of effort and time. Once you've got it started and the wheels are rolling, business is coming toward you, you will be able to take more time off. You will be able, hopefully, to work fewer hours. But right now, you've got a schedule that needs to be kept. So obviously, there are some things on here that you might have questions about. The morning part is self-explanatory, but stay away from negativity. You're entering into a business that's highly competitive. As I mentioned, I think there are 15,000 real estate agents running around out there. You could probably step outside of any building in Naples and throw a rock and hit a realtor. So you've got a lot of competition. Stay away from negativity in the morning, because a lot of competition means there's going to be a decent amount of rejection. Role playing is something you may or may not have heard about, but once you start to master your craft, conversations that you're going to be having with customers, whether it's in negotiation or whether it's in a listing presentation or whether it's in simply handling the question, how many homes have you sold? These are things that you need to be able to handle powerfully. So running through the words, scripting, and practicing with other people before you get in front of $1 million seller would be wise. In the morning, this is when we're spending time on prospecting and marketing. Then we've got a little break for some administration, lunch. At 1 o'clock, I want to point this out, following up is incredibly important. 80% of your business is going to come from following up. You're not going to be able to go and do an open house and slam a transaction. Those are few and far between. You're going to have to follow up quick and often. It's going to take between 5 and 6 times reaching out to get somebody to engage with you. And from there, it typically takes 11 conversations until they do some sort of business with you. And that's if they are a ripe and ready lead. So let those numbers sink in. You can't talk to somebody one time and let them go. In the afternoon, this is when you want to be out. You should be doing listing appointments, of course, but right now listings are hard to come by. So previewing property would be really important. Spending time getting to know the communities, getting to know the inventory that is out there. Working in open houses as much as possible. Those are also a little bit of a challenge right now. And then we want to get back into the office, working on administration, emails, phone calls, entering notes from the things that you've seen. Maybe you just took the day and went and saw new construction communities and understood them better. Making sure you're taking your notes and preparing for the next day is critically important too. So this is the ideal schedule of a real estate agent, and it's a long day. Let's talk about the specific steps to gain traction in the market. So one of the first things we want to do is create a database and feed it every day. So whether it's something sophisticated like a customer relationship management system, or whether it's just a spreadsheet in Excel or a list on a piece of paper, that's okay. But we can't let anybody go by that we know, that our spouses know, that our kids know, that our parents know. Everybody that you've known or ever known has to be in that database. And we have to start keeping track of phone numbers and information. This is what allows you to grow a book of business. It's what allows you to possibly have something at the end of all this that's saleable, right? You're growing a business. Adding 10 people to that list a day is your goal. So that means you need to be out talking to people about real estate every day. Asking for business is critical. So you can't just talk to someone about real estate and then turn around and walk away. Let me give you an example of this. Sometimes people, when they find out that you own a real estate company, they'll ask you, well, gosh, the market's crazy. You know, when do you think it's going to shift? Or what do you think is going to happen with interest rates, right? I have the same answer every time, right? And it's, well, the market's incredible right now. And actually, I'm looking for property to sell. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell that could use my help? Actually, I'm looking for property to sell. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell that could use my help? I don't give a long-winded answer to their question and then just turn around and walk away without asking for business. So make sure every conversation you're having with someone ends with, who do you know that I can help? It may not be them, you're not asking them to do anything, but we have to ask for business. Core advocates. So as a coach, I require my agents to have 5 core advocates at all times, at a minimum. These are people that you do business with, ideally. So maybe it's your accountant, maybe it's your attorney, maybe it's your doctor, maybe it's your dentist, maybe it's your optometrist, maybe it's the person that cleans your pools. cleans your carpet, the last person you bought a car from. There's somebody you're trading money with on a regular basis that you have the ability to help them grow their business by referring people to them, and they are in a position in return to refer people to you. I would like for you to have 5 core advocates at all times that are capable of referring you 2 transactions a year, right? 2 good leads a year. So let's think about that. If I have 5 core advocates out there speaking on my behalf and referring me business, and each of them gives me 2, there's my 10 transactions right there. That's $120,000 in commission falling out of bed, right? One of the things that real estate agents do is they forego talking to the people that they know that they're in business with every single day, and they go and buy leads. And I say, why would you do that as a marketing strategy? When the leads that you're buying are being shared with a whole bunch of other agents, they're not exclusive to you. And those leads have to be worked and nurtured typically over a period of anywhere from 18 to 36 months to the time they come to fruition. And there's a very small return on that, especially if you're paying for them directly. I promise you, even if you're not from this area, you're from somewhere else, you've got 5 people in your hometown that can refer you business. You've got people here that can refer you business. And if you don't, you need to start getting into relationship with a new dentist, with a new doctor, with an accountant, with somebody at H&R Block, with somebody that paints. You know, one of the first things that homeowners do before they get ready to sell their house is they'll have someone come in and clean the carpets, paint the house, power wash the house. Get yourself 5 core advocates. And here's the key. You need to touch base with those people once a month. Don't forget, put this in your calendar. On the first of every month, the agents I coach touch base with all of their core advocates. This starts a referral business back to you. And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked at how easy it is to pull business there and to gain market traction. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to get around social media. Some of you may love it. I think for most salespeople who've been in the relationship business, though, for lots of years, social media is a little bit of a challenge. But posting on social media, particularly Instagram, Facebook, using YouTube video, these are important things. Posting something positive twice a week is important. It doesn't have to always be original content. You can actually take something from the board website. Maybe it's a statistical graph, or maybe it's an article. As long as you give credit to the Board of Realtors or whoever has written that article, you can take a snapshot of that and throw it on your site. But it's super important that we post positive information a couple times a week on your Facebook business page. And then the last way to quickly gain market traction is, of course, to do open houses. Make sure you're well trained in this, that you shadow someone from your brokerage, or you learn in a training class how to do a great open house. And then you could do an open house every single day if you could find the inventory to sit in, and then work from there. That could actually become your office, right? And then follow up with people. Don't wait until the next day, and don't email them. If they were out looking at property today, they're interested in looking at property today. They're interested in talking about property today. So when you get ready to leave your open house, let's say it's 4 o'clock, I would gather up all the names and information that you have and start making phone calls. Hey, I was thinking about your visit today. There are likely a couple of other properties that you might want to see, and I'm wondering when we can schedule time to go look at those homes. Now, you may have a million questions in between what I'm telling you and following up with people like, how do I get them to register? Where am I going to find an open house? I mean, these are all really good questions. So once again, Eris is here for you to help you. If you fill out the contact form on our website, I'll make sure that you've got some help with that. So here are some rules of the road to gain market traction. I'm going to run through this quickly. Believe in yourself. Confidence attracts. You're going to have to fake it until you make it. If you don't believe in you, no one else will either. Every success needs to be shared. So what that means is as soon as you have something that you're doing, an open house or anything else, everybody needs to know about it. The neighborhood needs to know about it. Your Facebook audience needs to know about it. As you start to develop a niche, anytime you have something go under contract, you take a listing, you win an award, or you close a transaction, let people know so that one transaction turns into 2 or 3. Keeping your consistent schedule means your business will become consistent. If you are not working the same schedule every day and it's up and down and in and out, your business is going to be up and down and in and out and very unpredictable. Don't reinvent the wheel, ask for help. And this is still a relationship business. So as much as technology's taken over, it's still about talking to people and people getting into relationship with you. Coaching increases productivity. Just as an example, the Rigsby team that you're seeing here at the bottom started in 2017. Brian and Natasha hired us when they only had 2 listings. Within 18 months, they had 21 listings and $15 million in revenue. And then we hired this young lady in the teal there, Kaylee, as their transaction coordinator and then a buyer agent. In 2021, just January, they did $10 million this last January. That's almost $300,000 in GCI for this group. So here are your next steps. I've given you some things that you need to do for homework tonight. Once you get your value proposition down, set up your Facebook business page. Call everyone you know, everyone in your phone, on Facebook, in your email contacts, and let them know that you now own a real estate business in Southwest Florida and you are committed to growing it, and ask them who they know that's looking to buy or sell that could use your help. Start following the schedule of a real estate agent right away and look into hiring a coach or someone that can help guide you on a yellow brick road here from where you are today to earning the wealth that you deserve so you don't get caught up in the forest. There's going to be a lot of shiny pennies out there dangling in front of you, a lot of distractions. So having a coach calling the plays for you that you need to run out that they know are successful, that's pretty valuable. So I'm going to leave you with that and tell you that you were made to grow. So don't ever stop learning. Don't ever stop coming to classes. Don't ever think that you know it all. Keep learning and growing because this is an exciting industry that's always changing. I'm here for you, and I hope to meet you in person soon.